Hello, I'm Sensei Alex Kakio, and the title of today's talk is Buddhism and the Coronavirus. But before we get into that, I'd like to remind you to subscribe and hit the notification bell. That way you'll be notified when I post talks in the future. Also, I'd like to let you know that my book, Perfectly Ordinary, Buddhist Teachings for Everyday Life, is now available on Amazon in both Kindle and paperback format. If you'd like to read a sample chapter from the book, you can do that in the description. There's a link. Click on it, read a few pages, and you like them, head over to Amazon and get a copy for yourself. So, the coronavirus, it's a big deal. A lot of people are very scared, understandably so. China is in a state of emergency. San Francisco just is now in a state of emergency as well. A lot of people are self-quarantining themselves or choosing to work from home to protect themselves from the virus. So what do we do? Well, what I always do when I'm faced with a situation of this magnitude is I look to the sutras. And I'm happy to say they didn't let me down. Because in the sutras, Buddha describes something called the 8 winds. And these are types of suffering that we cannot escape from. That no matter who we are or what we do, we will experience these sources of suffering, and thus the only thing we can do is accept them and work with them skillfully. And the 8 winds are birth, aging, sickness, death, gaining enemies, losing friends, gaining things we don't want, and losing things we do want. And as I said, it doesn't matter who you are, you will experience all of these things in your life. Some of them you'll experience multiple times. So what do we do? Well, for the purposes of this talk, I'd like to focus on sickness and death and how they relate to the coronavirus. Because when we truly understand that we are of a nature to get sick, and that we are of a nature that to die, and not just know it intellectually, but really understand and accept these facts, then things like the coronavirus don't scare us anymore. Because we know, again, that it's going to happen, and we know that the only thing we truly have control over is whether we suffer before it does happen. So we have a choice. We can panic and be scared of the coronavirus, or we can be peaceful and calm and make it part of our practice. And that's the only choice we have, really. Obviously, we need to do all the smart things, eat healthy foods, exercise, work from home if people at work are sick, wash our hands. And shame on you if you have not been washing your hands up to this point. But at the end of the day, it is what it is. Again, we will get sick, we will die, and we will die. But how those things happen, that's in our control. And Buddhism actually has a lot of great practices for this. So, for example, in the Theravada tradition, they spend a lot of time meditating next to corpses, meditating in cemeteries, doing guided meditations where they imagine their bodies rotting away to prepare themselves for death. Because that's what meditation is. It's dying on the cushion. Bet your teacher didn't tell you that part. But it's true in yoga tradition as well. Savasana, there's a reason they call it corpse pose. You lay down on your back, your hands are at your side, your eyes are closed. You're practicing dying. So what I'd recommend is do some Savasana. Go meditate in a cemetery. Or if you don't want to go to a cemetery, just meditate at home in front of your altar. As you meditate and experience that peacefulness that comes from being calm, from being still, from being quiet, take a moment and compare that to death, where we're also very still and very quiet. And I think you'll realize that death isn't so scary after all. It's just another part of the path. And as we walk, as we end this chapter of our lives and go to the next one, we can do that with a smile on our face, knowing that this is a natural part of life. Nothing to be afraid of. So that's the talk for today. I hope it was helpful. If you'd like to read articles I've written about Buddhist practice, you can do that at my blog, The Same Old Zen, which is at thesameoldzen.com. You can also email me at sameoldzen@gmail.com. If you'd like to talk more about the coronavirus or other Buddhist topics, and of course, if you leave a comment in the comment section below, I promise I will respond. I love chatting with you guys. So, until next time, Amitabha.